This is set number 71002, Collectible Minifigures Series 11, and today we have the Evil Mech. Ages 5 and up, 1 of 16 figures, released in 2013, and retails for $3. Let's take a closer look at this figure now. We'll start off with the packaging for this set, which also shows the dot codes on the bottom as best as I can interpret them. These dot codes may not be exact or may not be, the only one for this figure. So, sometimes they have more than one dot code. It is better to feel the packages to find the figure you want. The Evil Mech is shown on the front of the package, along with one figure I have yet to get, as the third to last that I have of this series. The Evil Mech is number 4 of 16 figures. You can see him prominently on this side of the page. You can also see some of his details on the back of the page, including his blaster, his helmet, and his chest armor. So, taking a look at the Evil Mech, you can recognize that he's very similar to the evil version of the Battle Mech, which we've seen in Series 9. We'll get to a comparison of those in just a bit. Now, it is common for LEGO to have these evil counterparts of previously made figures. They've done that with all different kinds of robots and space-related figures especially. They've done that with cowboys and some other figures. Now, the main color scheme I've noticed with this figure is black, of course, and then a little bit of green and gray. So it is actually nice to see this color coordination with this figure. He has no back printing, even underneath the armor. But he does have some front printing, and also some shoulder printing. It is interesting to see that shoulder printing. Maybe they're bullets? Because they look like little round bullets. Perhaps ones that load into the gun. The gun that he's holding is actually very generic, which I thought was one of the weaker parts of this figure, other than his, his existence of being an evil counterpart. This type of gun is it's actually made in the really early days of LEGO Star Wars, roughly between 1999 and 2003, as far as I can remember. It may have even lasted a little bit longer than that, but you'd have to double check. But it is a very amateur version of a gun in comparison to some of the other guns that we've seen. I do like how they brought it back, but it's just kind of interesting, after all the different rifles and space guns that have been made, they go with this one. Because maybe they've used the space gun too many times in, Alien Conquest and Collectible Minifigures and other themes. They just got tired of it and wanted to make it something a little bit unique. We do have some printing on his legs. There is some printing on his chest. You see that looks like an upside down Triforce. It actually associates with Blacktron from what I've been told. We do have printing on the helmet, and I like how it actually has a streak on the back, not really of a printing, but just the way it's molded. We do have some silver look on the sides of the shoulders, and here's a look underneath of his actual head. It's basically a giant visor with a little crosshair in the middle of it. That crosshair can still be seen when you keep the helmet on. I'm going to take apart this figure, and it doesn't have any back printing as well on the head. Take apart this figure, and you can see more of his underlying parts. He is very reminiscent of Blacktron by the way that his torso is made and some of the designs on the torso. So, some of the 80s and 70s LEGOs fans are actually excited about this type of figure. To see a little bit of Blacktron influence in more recent LEGO years. Now, it's something that I never embraced because I never heard of it. I was not around at the time of Blacktron, so I don't know why there's a big hype about it as far as space themes go. And I guess it's just because it's a really bad-looking space villain theme. A bunch of figures, are commonly recognized for being from Blacktron era LEGO sets. So I find it interesting they, brought that back for us in these newer, minifigures such as the Evil Mech. Now, I'd like to do a comparison real quick of the Battle Mech versus the Evil Mech. Now, the Battle Mech is being good. The Evil Mech is, well, evil. One thing I like, it's really hard to tell which one I like better. Now, at first, I didn't like the Evil Mech, and I wasn't a big fan of the Battle Mech. But right now, they're kind of tied. I actually like the torso printing on them, aside from their shoulder printing, because they both have some unique things to offer on the torso that you can use just the torso by itself for other interesting sci-fi action. I actually like... I'm not sure which one I like better as far as the head goes. I kind of like the Evil Mech better, in fact, because it seems like you could do a little bit more with it than the Battle Mech. The Battle Mech is very reminiscent of the Galaxy Squad since it came out the same year and also has some of the same color scheme. So I'm not sure if I actually like that color scheme, you know, just being repeated. It's not exactly the same, but it is very reminiscent, like I said. So it's very, you know... It seems like a little bit of a crossover. If they had them in another color, maybe it would be cool. It's also kind of cool in this color as well. So as far as their torso designs, they seem pretty cool. Not too bad. I actually like these little parts in the back. You can add something that seems like a rocket, or maybe you could attach his gun when he's not being used on the back of there. Or if you're fighting each of these two, you can grab one by the back and hurl them across space if you wanted to. You could also add wings on the backs of these, as shown in the Galaxy Squad set, because that's their origination. That's how these figures were basically formed, because one of the robot figures in that theme has the same kind of helmet and the same kind of armor. Different colors, of course, but very similar in their molds. So, which one do I like better? Overall, I'm not really sure. They're pretty tied. Between the two figures, they seem good. They're not the best ones that I've seen in any collectible minifigure series, but I do like the diversity. I mean, you know, there have been Lego robots and other collectible minifigure series before. Take the ones from Series 1 and Series 9. Or no, Series 8. And, you know, those are the good and evil counterparts of each other. Very clunky design and kind of a classic design. This one's very futuristic looking and, you know, presents some new stuff on the table. Also reminiscent of some of those kinds of Japanese animes where you could see giant robots fighting each other, or, you know, I think that's kind of the idea behind these figures, which I actually like. I'm not a big fan of anime though, but I still like the design behind them, you know. And even the idea of the Evil Mech, it's kind of like he has just the one eye in the middle. So it presents a more eerie and kind of, you know, fearsome look to him. So he means business. I kind of like him. The Battle Mech is a good second. As far as either of these two figures, though, they're not the favorites in the series, for either series for me. They're just, you know, interesting other sci-fi characters, because we got a lot of them. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time with more LEGO set reviews.